Hi, I'm Dan Schmitt. I do a weekly television show called Team Chicago Challenge. My website is teamchicago.tv. If you want to contact me, it's teamdan45@gmail.com. I am at 2 blocks south of Museum of Science and Industry. This is the location of the first automobile race in America. Yes, the first automobile race ever in America took place in Chicago. Started at this location, went all the way north to Evanston and back to this location in 1895 on Thanksgiving Day. Today is Thanksgiving, 2019. So I'm going to talk to some of the people. I'm going to try to tell the story, and I think you'll learn something about the first automobile race in America. Don't forget my email is teamdan45@gmail.com. Send me an email, and send me a comment. Let me know what you think of my clips that I put up on YouTube. When I arrived at 8:45, great line of cars lined up around the area we affectionately call the Rock. Sports cars, vintage cars, hot rods, Corvettes, MGs, and I had the opportunity to talk to Marty Marcias, and he's with Cars and Coffee of Oak Park. Let's see what Marty has to say.
Hi, my name is Mario Macias. I'm in charge of Cars and Coffee Oak Park. We meet up every spring till fall on Sunday mornings, 8:30 to 10:30 as a Cars and Coffee group. Today we brought out roughly 60 cars in our group to come out, and we're always in support of this fun meetup on Thanksgiving Day. We really appreciate it, and it's a nice fun jaunt down in the morning early and back without getting in trouble.
So where do you meet in Oak Park?
So we meet in front of a place called the Beer Shop in Oak Park. It's on Marion and North Boulevard, not North Avenue, but North Boulevard. I can give you the address.
You got a website or Facebook or
yeah?
what?
So our Facebook page is Cars and Coffee Oak Park. So you can find us on Cars and Coffee Oak Park on Facebook. You can also find us Cars and Coffee Oak Park on Instagram, and then we'll make events for all of our events throughout the summer at Cars and Coffee Oak Park.
Thank you, Marty. As we see a radio-controlled car zooming around and entertaining this youngster. But this is like a great location. You have radio-controlled car races. I had a chance to talk to my old friend, Pete Bellender, about coming to the Rock.
Yes. Hi, Dan. I'm Pete Bellender. Sure. Just what we need around here. But anyway, we come down here every Thanksgiving morning, and a whole bunch of car guys, gearheads, motorheads, we get together where the first race in the United States was in 1895.
Thank you, Pete. As we see a few of the folks gathered admiring this internal combustion engine, we spot this very expensive McLaren supercar. These cars cost $150,000 plus, but it shows that there are folks with this great economy that can afford great looking cars. Let's take a look at this monument, the Rock. This Jackson Park location marks the start and the finish of the first automobile race in America. On Thanksgiving Day, 1895, 6 cars, 4 gasoline powered and 2 electric, raced 54 miles to Evanston and back. J. Frank Duryea, D-U-R-Y-E-A, won the race in 7 hours and 53 minutes, driving a gasoline-powered vehicle. This race introduced the automobile to America. Presented by the American Autosport Centennial Committee, November 23rd, 1995. Yes, it was 1895 when folks in America began hearing about motor-driven carriages. A local newspaper in Chicago put up a $10,000 purse. A good number of cars entered the event. I believe 6 were chosen, 4 with internal combustion gasoline engines, and 2 were electric. They raced from this location to Evanston. They took basically what is now Lakeshore Drive. They came back on Western Avenue to Riverview, which is Western and Belmont. They headed over to Milwaukee Avenue and then headed back south. Let's talk to my friend Bill Wilt from Motorsports Unlimited.
Hi, I'm Bill Wilt, and we are at what we affectionately call The Rock, as we are every Thanksgiving morning from 9 until noon, acknowledging the efforts that people made over 100 years ago, 1895, Thanksgiving Day, when the American auto industry was created, because this is the location of the start and finish of America's first auto race that took place in 1895. Now, I mentioned that it's America's first auto race, and I mentioned that it started the auto industry. Well, I'm not kidding, because the winner of the race, the Duryea, 1 year after the finish of the race, became America's first production automobile, and it was done with the proceeds from him winning the race is what put his production company together to start America's first automobile company. And if you acknowledge that the auto industry is the backbone of American economy, you know that this is the place where the American economy started in 1895.
All right, one of the things that we've learned is Henry Ford, in his memoirs, mentioned that he wished he could have come to this event.
In his memoirs, Henry Ford made the acknowledgement that his one regret in his life is he couldn't beg, borrow, or steal enough money to come over and attend America's first auto race.
Bill was there in 1995, and he interviewed a good number of these antique car owners. Let's check out what Bill recorded in 1995.
I think they're the first car in line to begin in the parade. And first I'm going to get their names, and you are?
Bob Casey.
Where are you from, Bob?
From Dearborn, Michigan.
And you are?
Glenn Miller from Dearborn, Michigan.
Okay, I understand this is your car?
Yes.
Okay, I'll be back to you. Let me make sure we get all the principals in. You are?
Daniel Miller.
From?
Dearborn, Michigan.
Okay, and by the way, folks from Michigan, this is a bitter pill for them to swallow, because the very first automobile race ever held in the United States was held right here in Chicago, 1895, and I'll bet the people who live in Dearborn, Michigan think it should have been there, because as we know, of course, Detroit's the capital and all that. So, and you are?
Janine Miller from Dearborn, Michigan.
And?
Julia Casey from Dearborn, Michigan.
Okay, now you guys didn't ride all the way here in this car from Dearborn, Michigan.
No. It came on a trailer.
It came on a trailer, because the looks on their faces like they're going for sympathy on this thing, like maybe they came all the way from Dearborn. Okay, back to you. Tell us about your car.
It's a 1912 Rambler. The model's Country Club. It's a 432 cubic inch 4-cylinder. And
well, you're talking about 100 plus cubic inches each cylinder.
Right, yeah, it's a very large engine. It has a lot of torque.
What kind of RPM does the engine run at?
It'll run up to probably about 1,800, so it's quite slow.
Actually, that's quite high for that time.
Oh yeah, for that time, but it's slow by today's standards.
Surely. Tell us about the rest of it, the running gear, and what the car was designed to do, and all that.
Well, this was actually quite a luxury car at the time. You could, when Model Ts were out, you could probably buy about 5 Model Ts for what this car cost when it was new. It was about $3,500 new, which was a lot of money in 1912.
No question about it. And at that time, we were just going through the transition of cars that were playthings for the wealthy, as opposed to being viable transportation devices.
Right.
And this was still one of the playthings for the wealthy.
Oh yeah, this was a luxury car. Yeah.
Okay. Do you use it very often?
Oh yeah, we drive this on a lot of tours. We probably run it maybe 1,500, 2,000 miles this year.
What would provoke you to come all the way to Chicago here on Thanksgiving Day?
It's a 100-year celebration of the first race.
You know, I was
wanting to do it for years.
You know, I'm going to tell you something. I was starting to think I was the only guy in the world that knew that this was the start. You know, the very first automobile race in the world was, or in the United States, was held right here in Chicago in 1895. I was starting to think I was the only. So it's gratifying for me to see all these folks. Apparently, you knew all the way in Michigan.
Oh yeah, I've been looking forward to this for a number of years.
Okay, and yourself, same reason?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Want to just be?
Besides, it's my birthday today. So.
Well, happy birthday! How old are you?
I'm old enough to know better than to do this.
Well, this is turning out to be a wonderful event, maybe even better than the Formula One race that I had envisioned for this big celebration, because the antique cars down here are absolutely wonderful. We've seen a Stanley steamer, a running Stanley steamer, and I mean one that flies going up and down the road many times. Hopefully we'll catch up with them. First of all, we've got another great antique car here, and you are?
Bud Jonas.
And where are you from, Bud?
Belding, Michigan.
Tell us about your car. What have we got?
It's a 1904 St. Louis, and there were 4 of them made, and as far as we know, it's the only one that's left.
Only 4 of these made?
Yes.
Oh, what a wonderful piece. I assume you had to do a ground-up restoration on it.
It was, well, everybody said don't fix it. It was junk.
Oh, it's gorgeous. How long did it take to make it look like this?
It took me 9 months.
Oh, did you do any of the work?
All of it.
You yourself personally did this work?
Well, that's what you have to do if you love these things. You do that kind of work.
Wait just a minute. Wait just a minute. Look at this brass work, the interior work. Do you do this for a living?
No, as a hobby.
Oh, what a wonderful piece.
I started collecting cars in 1948, so I've done a lot of restoration work.
Well, this must be the rarest one you've ever had.
Yes, and this car was interesting. It was stored in Detroit in a coal bin standing on end. To conserve space, they stood them up on end.
Oh, and you found it and brought it back to life. What a wonderful piece of work. And apparently it runs. I saw you drive up.
Yeah, it'll run.
You think you're going to be able to make the 54 miles?
Oh, sure.
You seriously?
Oh, sure.
Well,
it runs right along.
Let me just see what the ladies have to say about this, because this is an awful cold day. First of all, you are?
L.D. Campbell.
Where are you from?
California.
Oh, you got to be dying today. Absolutely dying. And you are?
I'm the better half. I'm Lorene Jonas from Belding, Michigan.
And he says this is your car.
Oh, sure.
Now, are you guys going to enjoy this today? And I got to say, I think for the ladies involved, it's a bigger sacrifice, because this is Thanksgiving, and typically you'd be in a nice dining room with a turkey dinner and all that. Is this really worth it to you?
Sure, he doesn't like turkey anyway.
So you're looking forward to this?
I don't have to fix dinner today.
Well,
I can eat out. See?
That's true. This is a special moment in history. I'm sure you guys are aware of it.
Yes, very much. We're real excited. It's a beautiful day. Could have been a lot colder. I've been in colder weather.
With the open car?
Yes.
And you still like it?
And you have to go like this in order to breathe.
And you still enjoy it?
Oh, yeah. Well, we've done it for 44 years since we got married, and even before that.
Oh, I think this is absolutely wonderful. And how about yourself from California? These guys must have talked you into this.
Oh, well, I don't know. We just all of a sudden decided it was a good thing to do.
Boy, talk about it was New Year's Eve, and we thought it was a good idea at the time. Well, you'll see, this is going to be fun today. I want to thank you for sharing the car with us. What a wonderful, wonderful piece of work. I congratulate you. This is absolutely gorgeous. If you would, please introduce yourself.
Marion Haynes from Lavendee, Indiana.
Tell us about your car. What have we got?
04 Oldsmobile, French hood, 7 horsepower.
Is this a complete restoration?
Right.
Ground up restoration?
Ground up.
Yeah, did you do any of the work?
Did it all.
No, you did it all yourself? Seriously?
Oh, my goodness.
Did the paint work. I had a new radiator built by somebody.
You did everything else yourself?
Yes.
Well, I am very impressed. And again, folks, you'd have to be there to see that this is a magnificent piece of work. What brings you all the way here to Chicago?
Well, there's a few people told me they were coming, and I decided to come. Wife stayed at home and had Thanksgiving dinner.
Now, are you going to be able to make the whole 54 miles with this car, do you think?
Sure.
You don't think it's going to be a problem?
No problem at all.
Well, listen, congratulations on a beautiful piece. I don't want to hold you up any longer. Appreciate taking me a little time.
Now let's look at another car from Indiana.
I regret that in just a very few short minutes, all of these wonderful cars are going to be gone, and I won't have had an opportunity to present them to you. I have said so many times on Motorsports Unlimited that we don't do nearly enough with antique cars. These are our roots, and these are wonderful pieces of equipment. First of all, on Motorsports Unlimited, we always talk to the pretty girls first, so if you would, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hi, I'm Eileen Cruzy.
And where are you from, Eileen?
We're from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Long way from home.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be freezing.
Well, it's not that bad.
Okay, I'm going to reach across you if you don't mind, and you are.
Jim Cruzy.
Also from?
Fort Wayne.
Okay, tell us about your car.
It's a 1913 Renault, two-cylinder, Model EK.
Tell us a little bit more about it as far as what was going on at the time when this was being manufactured.
Well, this car was manufactured in France, so it's a European car, one of the few that are on the run today. At this time, it was right before World War I, and Renault was very instrumental in World War I as far as this particular car.
In what respect?
This particular car, this chassis, actually ferried troops back and forth to the front during the war, this very chassis.
Now, do you really think that you're going to be able to make the whole 54 miles in this thing?
We put about 3,000 miles on this car last summer.
No.
Yeah, so we tour quite extensively. I don't think it'll be a problem.
Now, did you restore this yourself?
Did it ourselves.
You did? You personally did the work?
Yep. Took about 4 months to do, the winter of '93.
I cannot be more impressed with the number of people we have talked to here today that did the restorations themselves. And I can tell you, this doesn't always show on television, but these are magnificent pieces of work. You are to be congratulated. This is beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Now, do you share his enthusiasm, or does he drag you in kicking and screaming?
Of course, I love this. This is a great hobby.
So this is not a terrible way for you to spend a Thanksgiving?
Oh, no, this is great.
Okay, you guys, I am sure, are quite aware that you're sharing a really special moment in history, this being the 100th anniversary, the first automobile race?
This is a great event, and we're so proud to be part of it.
Okay, well, listen, I hope you guys have a wonderful run and you don't break down. One good thing, we don't have snow today, so that's an advantage that they didn't have in 1895. Can I put you to work for 1 second?
Sure.
Okay, I'd like you to look at our camera right over there, and I want you to say...
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
Bill was there to record the start of this tour to Evanston and back in 1995. Now I had a chance to talk to one of the participants from 1995, Mason Maynard.
Mason Maynard. In 1995, when they did this, there was a hell of a lot of cars that came in from Minnesota and Michigan. And they obviously hadn't ran in a long time because of the old gas. You could just smell it everywhere. And quite a few of those cars were dropping like flies the way that they should have. And it was an extremely cold day, and the Duriers that came, two of them, they were both older than I was. The grandson and the great-grandson. At any rate, it was a heck of an interesting event. And I was just thinking back when I drove down here of how many guys that were here in '95 that were good friends of mine that I'm still in contact with, and the ones that have passed on that I miss to this day. Other than that, I don't know if I can think of much else to say.
Thank you, Mason, for your insights. It isn't just car folks showing up. A good number of motorcycle people also showed up as you look at this Triumph 3-cylinder. Let's talk to Zero Friend.
Hi, I'm Cyril Friend from Riverside. Been coming to the Bill Wilkes Ride to the Rock for about 10 years. I try to come on different bikes every year. I've got a half dozen bikes or so, and I've been on other buddies' bikes and other bikes. Everything. I brought my little Honda Cub 70cc scooter, my BMW R60, my BMW K75, my Ural with a sidecar, my buddy Suzuki V-Strom, a Goldwing, a rental Goldwing 1 year, and this year I've got a new bike, a bike that I didn't want because I got it from a buddy of mine who left it to me at the end of his battle with lung cancer. So I went to visit him, gave me an envelope, had the title in it. When I opened it, saw that title, knew what it was. It was a hard time, but it was great times. I knew him for 37 years. He spent a lot of time on this bike only in the last year of his life. He had a 1975 Norton Commando that was being restored when he was diagnosed 5 years ago. He said he got tired of not having a bike to ride because the bike was taken apart, and he bought a Triumph Sprint ST 1050. It's a leader bike, it's a triple, pretty sporty bike. He put about 10,000 miles on it in 1 year and gave it to me in his final weeks. So I've got another bike here at Bill Wilt's Ride to the Rock, the bike that I didn't want, but I've got.
This is a 3-cylinder British-built sport touring bike.
So my buddy who I got the bike from, his name is Kevin Budd. He's been gone for almost 2 years, so I appreciate his bike, but I didn't want it.
There were a good number of folks from the Toys for Tots motorcycle parade. Let's talk to Jack and Santiago.
Howdy, my name is Jack Voss, and I'm down here today at the Rock to commemorate the first automobile race in America, and also to see my good friend Bill Wilt. Haven't seen him for a while. And we're getting ready because this year, Thanksgiving weekend, also has the Toys for Tots ride in it. This will be the 42nd year, and I've been on the staff for a few years, and we're looking forward to it. If you want to know more about it, check out our Facebook page and also our website at the chicagolandtft.org. And this here is a friend of mine.
My name is Santiago Castillo. I'm a member of Toys for Tots. I'm here with Jack Voss, and this is my first time here at the Rock, and this is the first time I'm learning about this, so this is something different for me, and I hope to come back other times here.
Well, it's pretty impressive that the first automobile race ever in America was in Chicago.
Wow, I did not know this. Yeah.
So think of the politicians nowadays. Would any of them even have the foresight or even allow something like that?
Yeah, I don't think that would ever happen. I mean, especially with the politicians and all this stuff that's going on in Chicago, and I don't think they would ever have a race here in Illinois like this. Yeah.
Something else interesting about Chicago that I discovered when the Field Museum had the Art of the Motorcycle exhibit. I did some research and I found out that there are over 40 different motorcycles made in Chicago. In the golden age of motorcycles in the early 1900s, there were over 40 different. That's the highest of any city. So Chicago has a real relationship with the motorcycle and the automobile.
Right. Okay, so I look for you guys for the next few years to come on down there on Thanksgiving.
Oh yes, definitely. I would be here next year. Yes, this is very different for me, and I hope everybody comes down to Toys for Tots this Sunday and to join us.
Great. Nice to see you too.
And have a good Thanksgiving.
Okay. It's Cyril Leaves. I had a chance to talk to Dave Gunder.
Hi, I'm Dave Gunger. I come here to the Rock. Used to come every year with my little twin boys who are now almost 21. My wife usually makes fudge for Bill, and I guess I'm a little late. It's almost 10:30. I had something to do in the area, so I came down to say hello. Tribute to the Rock, first auto race in America. And who do I run into? Team Chicago. So he was here. So little quick comment. Bill, we love you. I'll have to stop by your house like I did once before and surprise you. And we'll introduce the Chicago Challenge. Dan Schmitt, Dan the man.
Thank you, Dave. And for more information on Bill Wilt, Motorsports Unlimited TV, their website is msutv.com. Contact me, it's teamdan45@gmail.com. Let me know what you think of this clip, and remember to search for more motorcycle racing action with Dan Schmitt Motorcycle Racing on YouTube.